Hey YouTube. I decided to take a break from planning on doing another papal writing video, which I was going to focus on the imprimatur, and instead I'm going to talk quick about something that I've seen come up in other debates between Protestants and Catholics regarding the choice of Peter as the first pope. So usually what happens in these debates is the Protestant apologist or theologian will come and say something to the effect of, well, Jesus could have chosen anyone. Why would he choose someone like Peter? I mean, he had Paul. Paul was this great man who had great education. He was obviously a leader. Read Paul. You can obviously see that he's got this strong voice, that he gets in the middle of things and everything else. So they question, well, why would Jesus ever choose someone like Peter? I mean, you have John, you got Paul. Why pick Peter to be a pope? It seems like a good question. At least at the beginning of the question itself. I, for one, would agree here that there exists within the apostles more concrete and mystical figures that Christ could have definitely have chosen from to make the first head of the church. But that doesn't mean that Peter, being the unlikely candidate to be the Pope at the time, would be immediately thrown out of consideration. Just because he has a flawed character doesn't necessarily mean that he's not going to be the head of the church. We must remember that there are many things that upon first review might seem to us as being foolish. Yet, how many times in life have we been in awe by the wisdom of God? Need I only remind you of 1 Corinthians in the 3rd chapter in the 19th verse, where Paul proclaims, "For the wisdom of the world is foolishness with God. For it is written, He taketh the wise in their own craftiness." Now, having said that, I would like to end this brief video with a quick quote from G.K. Chesterton's wonderful book, Heretics, followed by another fantastic audio clip of Venerable Fulton Sheen talking about Peter in a similar manner. I hope you enjoy, and God bless.
The truth is that all genuine appreciation rests on a certain mystery of humility and almost of darkness. The man who said, "Blessed is he that expecteth nothing, for he shall not be disappointed," put the eulogy quite inadequately and even falsely. The truth is, blessed is he that expecteth nothing, for he shall be gloriously surprised. The man who expects nothing sees redder roses than common men see, and greener grass, and a more startling sun. Blessed is he that expecteth nothing, for he shall possess the cities and the mountains. Blessed is the meek, for he shall inherit the earth. Until we realize that things might not be, we cannot realize that things are. Until we see the background of darkness, we cannot admire the light as a single and created thing. As soon as we have seen that darkness, all light is lightning, sudden, blinding, and divine. Until we picture nonentity, we underrate the victory of God, and can realize none of the trophies of his ancient war. It is one of the million wild jests of truth that we know nothing until we know nothing. Now this is, I say deliberately, the only defect in the greatness of Mr. Shaw, the only answer to his claim to be a great man, that he is not easily pleased. He is an almost solitary exception to the general and essential maxim that little things please great minds. And from this absence of that most uproarious of all things, humility, comes incidentally the peculiar insistence on the Superman. After belaboring a great many people for a great many years for being unprogressive, Mr. Shaw has discovered with characteristic sense that it is very doubtful whether any existing human being with 2 legs can be progressive at all. Having come to doubt whether humanity can be combined with progress, most people, easily pleased, would have elected to abandon progress and remain with humanity. Mr. Shaw, not being easily pleased, decides to throw over humanity with all its limitations and go in for progress for its own sake. If man, as we know him, is incapable of the philosophy of progress, Mr. Shaw asks, not for a new kind of philosophy, but for a new kind of man. It is rather as if a nurse had tried a rather bitter food for some years on a baby, and on discovering that it was not suitable, should not throw away the food and ask for a new food, but throw the baby out of the window and ask for a new baby. Mr. Shaw cannot understand that the thing which is valuable and lovable in our eyes is man, the old beer-drinking, creed-making, fighting, failing, sensual, respectable man. And the things that have been founded on this creature immortally remain. The things that have been founded on the fancy of the Superman have died with the dying civilizations which alone have given them birth. When Christ, at a symbolic moment, was establishing his great society, he chose for its cornerstone neither the brilliant Paul nor the mystic John, but a shuffler, a snob, a coward, in a word, a man. And upon this rock he's built his church, and the gates of hell have not prevailed against it. All the empires and the kingdoms have failed because of this inherent and continual weakness, that they were founded by strong men and upon strong men. But this one thing, the historic Christian church was founded on a weak man, and for that reason it is indestructible. For no chain is stronger than its weakest link.
During this holy hour, we will meditate on how we slip away from the good Lord and how ready he is to receive us back. The meditation will revolve around the most likable, lovable man in all the Scriptures, Simon, who is called Peter. He had 2 names. One name he received from his parents. The other name he received from the Lord. The name from his parents was Simon. When our blessed Lord saw him, he said, "Your name is Simon. From now on, your name is Rock." That is the meaning of Peter, in Greek and the Romance languages. We could just as well say Peter. But when we say rock, it brings out the fact that if there was any one thing that Peter was not, it was a rock. He was the most vacillating, weak individual, making promises he never could keep, stumbling, falling, and almost seeming like a broken reed. And yet the Lord says, "Your name is the Rock, Peter." I can remember when I was in the 3rd grade, there was a boy in school who never took part in any games. He was too weak. A good wind would have blown him away. We called him Hercules. And I think that that was the mentality of our blessed Lord when he calls Simon Peter, or the Rock. He was going to be made one. Now, each and every one of us, particularly we priests and sisters, we have 2 natures too. We have the nature we receive from our parents, our inheritance, with all of its physiological, psychological advantages and disadvantages. And we also have a divine nature, the name that Christ gave us. And as in the case of Simon, there was always a vacillation between one nature and the other. Sometimes Simon predominated, at other times the Petrine nature. So with us. We're up, we're down. We're with him, we're seemingly weak about his service. That is why he is an excellent subject for meditation.